Hey everybody, it's Captain CA from FlatsClass YouTube. Today we're going to talk about when do you use or consider using spoons to catch redfish. It's a question that's posed to me all the time in seminars, in FlatsClass University. This is a regular question because so many of you have never caught redfish on spoons. Well, fortunately, this week we were actually challenged. I mean, challenged by some weather conditions that made spoons the ideal lure to throw to redfish. Now, I'm going to send you out to the action where we were fishing close to the mouth of the Swanee River. And you go check this action out and what we were doing. And then when we come back, we're going to go in the shop here. And I'm going to break down what you're going to need to make these work for you. Go check this out. This episode of FlatsClass YouTube is brought to you by Aquatraction, your go-to solution for advanced marine flooring. So, Rick, while I went and parked the truck, how are those no-see-ums treating you?
Oh, they love me, man. They love me. You talk about a magnet? I'm a no-see-em magnet, man.
That is a nice take right off the point of the oyster bar. Right there in that high grass. I'm coming down. Coming down. Okay. I'll help you with that, guy. Spoon feeding them. So as you can see, we were challenged with fog and with wind. What happens here on the West Coast when we get these warm-ups during the wintertime is the wind kind of swings out over the Gulf. So we'll start getting south-southwest or even west winds. And we get a weather phenomena called convection fog. So you've got this warm air blowing across cooler water, and it just billows in almost like a smoke machine, if you will, this fog. Well, at times it was breezy, and it made fishing very challenging. Now, later on, it did break up a little bit toward the end of the day, like 2 or 3 o'clock. But this was a zone that I don't fish very often. I don't know where the fish are. I knew we had a tide that was going to put the fish up in the thin, tender grass around the banks, and a few zones where we actually could fish over the top of oyster and limestone. And I knew that was our best chance. Now, for me, knowing all the snags, anything subsurface was going to be a big problem. But when you're throwing spoons, this is one of the more weedless baits that you can throw, whether you throw green ones, the live bait spoons from Aqua Dream. I'm very partial to the Texas tea color. This is a copper colored spoon. And the reason why is they have a lot of flash, a lot of thump, and they don't get hung up that often. If you keep them moving, you can usually shake them over the top of isolated oyster piles and things like that and work them through grass. Grass is what we were throwing right up against the bank, trying to catch redfish. Now, we ended up catching 5 or 6 redfish this day on an exploration trip with my client Rick. But just understanding when these work, breezy days, turbid water, even though the water really wasn't that turbid where we were fishing, turbid water is a great time to throw these spoons. Naturally, diminished light, ambient light, like you have with fog, or maybe pre-front, where you have lots of rolling cloud cover. These are the days when spoons really excel. Now, when do you kind of don't want to throw a spoon? Those are going to be those bright, crystal clear water zones where you have bright skies and you have very little wind. That's when these maybe not the best choice. But in challenging conditions or fishing in mullet muds or something like that, spoons are excellent, excellent tools to catch fish, and probably would always make my top 5 or 6 lures to catch fish in challenging conditions. Now, you'll notice that I've always put a swivel directly on my spoons. I've done this with every one of them. I usually carry 5 or 6 of these baits with me. And the reason for is a spoon will create some line twist for sure in spinning gear. So it's definitely an advantage to have a high quality swivel attached to your spoon. The other thing is the rod itself. Now, for me, and what I had Rick throwing, is I had him throwing an action like this. This is a medium heavy fast action rod. Okay, so it's quite stiff. It's very, very stiff. It doesn't bend very easy. You gotta have a rod like that, because when you make a cast with that 10-pound braid and you're reeling it through that grass and that fish starts tracking it out of there and eats it, you're going to have to catch up to them quickly. So you need a faster reel. Lots of times we throw them on 4,000s, not 3,000s size reels. And then you're gonna have to come tight and you're gonna have to pull him up and get him up. That's when these work great, because you've got a sharp hook here, but eventually banging it on that oyster and stuff, it will get a little dull. And if you're not sharpening it or changing the spoon out throughout the day, you want to have those medium heavy action rods. Now this rod model comes from Shimano. Naturally, I'm a paid professional for them. This is the Talavera inshore rod. So this is the ideal rod when I go spoon fishing myself or take clients to do it. Now I'm going to send you back to the action. Things got a little cleaner, a little bit better, and then we'll wrap this up in a few minutes. Finally, 6 hours in, we're finally getting rid of the fog. Crazy. Frustrating. Haven't been able to see anything all day. Just grinding with our spoon. Water there. Redfish up here and out of the wind. Maybe swing one left a little bit down there. See if we can pick one up that doesn't know we're here. There you go. Maybe one more, a little further down. There you go, nice cast. There we go. Ooh, a good one. Hey, the guy we have been looking for. All right. On this side, he's pretty green. Oh, man. He's throwing water. Here he comes. Nice. Got that spoon in there. Yeah, he did. In there. All right, let's do a little work. Get him taken care of. Well, when you fish all day in the fog, you end up cleaning the boat in the dark for a little while into the evening. One of those days. It ended all right. We ended up having an okay day, and we stayed a little longer because that sun came out. In fact, by the time we drove, an hour and a half home, this time of year, it gets dark at 6 o'clock. I was literally, as you saw, washing the boat in the dark. And that's what guides do this time of year. We put long days in, and when the conditions are challenging and you don't know where the fish are, a spoon is an excellent, excellent search bait that will really, on days that you'd likely strike out, this will keep you from getting skunked. The simple, old, trusty, reliable spoon. Whether you like the chrome spoon, the gold spoon, the pink spoon, the green spoon, or in this case, the Texas Tea copper spoon. I mean, look at Rick's smile right here in this pic. I mean, he put an effort in, and if you watched it closely, he's a good caster. He's a regular participant in my YouTube videos because he's a regular client. And it's usually just him going fishing with me, and him being, I guess, an explorer like myself. He'll let me take some chances and go some places I normally don't fish. So I appreciate Rick for that for sure. If you guys really enjoy and you're learning stuff here at FlatsClass YouTube, please subscribe and please share these videos with some of your friends and family who's trying to get better at inshore fishing. Remember, I've been doing this stuff. I don't want to tell you how old I am, but I've been doing this stuff for over 30 odd years. That's a lot of mistakes that I have figured out how to correct, and I want to share them with you. All right, hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next tip. I've been doing like 4 or 5 of these today. I'm starting to get a little punchy. All right, you guys take that spoon tip, go catch some redfish this weekend, and I'll be back here soon. Captain C.A. Richardson, signing off.